Hello sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Hello to all. Okay. Hello to all and good evening. This is our fourth live interaction class about the course NPTEL Engineering Mathematics 2. And I am your TA Shankar Chattopadhyay. The course code is NOC MA17. The instructor is Professor Jitendra Kumar. He is a faculty at the Department of Mathematics, Indian Institute of Technology, Ropar. And I am taking your class for my partial fulfillment of PMRF requirements. So welcome to everybody in my channel. Okay, I am writing down my mail. This is my official email ID. You can contact me through here. Okay. It is shanka.21mazz0008@iitrpr.ac.in. Okay, so from in the last class we have learned about basics of surface integration, and we have learned about only one theorem, that is called Green's theorem, that interconnects surface integral and surface integral as well as line integral. But in this class we will mostly focus on surface integration of a vector field, and we will learn two of the most important theorem of vector calculus. One is the Stokes theorem and the other one is the Gauss's divergence theorem. Okay, so without a delay, let's proceed. So first we will discuss a bit about so first we will discuss about what is called by saying surface integral of a vector field. So first of all, a smooth surface, this is called orientable if and only if it is possible to define a vector field of unit normal vectors n to the surface which varies continuously with position. Once such normal vectors are chosen, the surface is considerable is orientable surface. So this is a orientable surface, this is also an orientable surface, it is also an orientable surface. So this type of, where you can suitably define unit vectors, then the surface is called oriented surface. Now if the surface S is given by z equal to f of xy, then we take its orientation by considering the unit normal vectors. If you are given this type of surface, the surface S is given by z equal to f xy, we take its orientation by considering the unit normal vector n cap minus fx I cap minus fy j cap plus k cap by square root of 1 plus f square x plus f square y. So this is the required unit normal if you have a surface like z equal to fxy. Now if S is a part of a level surface, that means if you are like, if your surface is given like this, that g of xyz equal to c, that means z is not explicitly given in terms of x and y, you have surface like for example you have surface like x square plus y square plus z cube equal to c, then you may take this unit normal as gradient of g. This is nothing but the gradient of g divided by absolute value of gradient of g. Okay, now also if you have a parametric function like in terms of vector like x, y and z, they all depend upon two parameters u and v, then the expression for unit normal is this. So sometimes we may take negative sign if it is preferred. Conventionally the outward direction is taken as the positive direction. So what this line means that sometimes you may take the negative sign, the sign of this outward drawn normal you can take negative sometimes if it is preferred, but conventionally the outward direction is taken as the positive direction. That means usually we prefer n to be in the positive direction. That means we will take only the plus. Okay, so note that the outward direction of the normal makes sense when the surface is oriented. So when the surface is oriented, then only this outward or inward direction actually makes sense. Now this I think Professor Kumar has also discussed that let f be a continuous vector field defined over an oriented surface S with unit normal n cap, then the surface integral of f over S, also called the flux of x across S, is defined this. So this is actually the surface integration formula. Then let f be a continuous vector field defined over an oriented surface S. Okay, so the flux is the integral of the scalar component. So this is actually the formula for the flux, right? So okay, so if S is the part of a level surface gxyz equal to c, okay, no, so then the flux across, if S is if your function is given like this, g of xyz equal to c, which is defined over the domain D, then d sigma is defined as this, and the flux, the formula for flux reduces to f dot n d sigma reduces to this. So this n cap is nothing but you have to take this gradient of g divided by gradient of g dot p vector into dA, and this dA is nothing but dx dy. So this is actually the formula for the flux. And if S is parameterized, then where D is the domain in UV plane, then d sigma is this, and here you need to just write in terms of the parametric form, right? So this is the, but mostly we will use this formula. This formula is very important. Okay, so this is very important formula actually. So this is actually the most important formula. Now we'll solve one example. So find the flux of the vector. The vector is given as f vector equals to yz j cap plus z square k cap, that is outward through the surface S, which is cut from the cylinder y square plus z square equal to 1 and z is greater than or equal to 1 by the planes x equal to 1 and x equal to 0. So first of all you need to understand that what does the problem mean to say, right? So first you need to find the flux of f, which is as yz j cap plus z square k cap. that is outward through the surface S and is cut from the cylinder y square plus z square equal to 1, z is greater than or equal to 0 by the planes this x equal to 0 and x equal to 1. Now so first of all you need to determine what is your surface, what is your level surface. So S is given by, this is the level surface, gxyz equal to y square plus z square minus 1 defined over the rectangle r equal to rxy as in the figure, where rxy means, see, this is the on which you want to take. So this figure is the will tell you that how you have to need to take this n cap. So the outward normal n cap is just, you have to draw the, you have to take the plus sign, right? You have to consider it plus sign because outward drawn. So the outward drawn unit normal is gradient of g divided by gradient modulus of gradient g. Now if you take gradient of g, this gradient of g is equal to, this gradient g equal to twice y plus twice y j cap plus twice j k cap. Now if you just take gradient of g, then 2 and 2 will cancel one another. So this unit word outward drawn normal is y j cap plus z k cap. Priyanka, am I right? This is n cap equal to gradient of g divided by modulus of gradient g. So 2 and 2 will cancel one another. So you will get only y j cap plus z k cap. Okay. Now here you have to choose the, here is one another clue that x varies from 0 to 1. So you need to construct this p. So p is actually, so what you will take p? P is actually k cap. So you have to choose p in such a way that this denominator does not vanish, right? So this p you have to choose in such a way that this term does not vanish. Now if you just compute this d sigma, then you will get d sigma equal to square root of y square plus z square by z. This gonna give you 1 by z into dA. Okay, so this week we will basically focus on surface integral, Stokes theorem, okay, surface integral, Stokes theorem and Gauss divergence theorem. So today's class we will learn about surface integral, Stokes theorem as well as Gauss divergence theorem. So today's class is the last class where we will discuss about vector calculus, and from next class we move on to complex analysis. Priyanka, is my voice clearly audible today?
Yes, sir.
Achha, thank you. It is clearly audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So f dot n on S is y square z plus z cube. So this f dot n, you have determined what is n. Now you determine, you know what is your f. You know your f, right? So now you need to take only f dot n. You compute f dot n, but you have to determine on the surface, and what is on your surface. This y square plus z square is 1. From here, this y square plus z square equal to 1. So this z into y square plus z square, this becomes z, and hence the outward drawn flux of S is this. So this is f dot n d sigma z into 1 by z dA, and this dA is the area of the rectangle. And what is that rectangle? That rectangle is x equals to 0, x equals to 1, and so this is actually your the surface. And what will be the area? What is the area of this rectangle? This is 2, right? So this is the cylinder. This is cut between x equal to 0, x equal to 1 plane. So this is your actually the rectangle, and the area of the rectangle is 2. So the required answer is 2. Now you have to find this type of problems may appear in your exam, right? So these are bit not that much tough questions. These are some easy problems, and hope you can actually solve these problems. Okay, now we will move to next problem. So this is our next problem, and we have to determine the flux of the vector field F zi cap plus yz cap plus xk cap across the unit sphere, right? So we have to find the flux of the vector field F equal to zi cap plus yz zk cap plus xk cap across the unit sphere. Now if no direction of the normal vector is given and the surface is a closed surface, we take n cap in the positive direction, which is directed outward. So using the spherical coordinate, we will use the spherical coordinate, and the unit sphere S is parameterized. So unit sphere means its radius r equal to 1. Okay, and then this r is parameterized as the sphere is parameterized. There will be only phi and theta because r you have fixed in 1. So r phi theta, the sphere is parameterized as sin phi cos theta I cap plus sin phi sin theta j cap plus cos phi k cap, where phi varies from 0 to pi and theta varies from 0 to 2 pi. It gives the domain D. Now you know your x coordinate is this, you know your y coordinate is this, your z coordinate is this, right? Somebody is trying to join somebody. No, okay. So you know your x coordinate, you know your y coordinate, you know your z coordinate. So now you just put here z, y, x. What is your z? Your z is cosine phi. Is it understandable that why we have taken? We have just utilized the spherical polar coordinate system, and in spherical polar coordinate system, your unit sphere means r equal to 1. So it will only consist of two parameters, and the two parameters are phi and theta, right? So what is your actually in spherical polar coordinate system? The Cartesian coordinates x, y and z, they are replaced by x sin phi cos theta, y sin phi sin theta, and z cos phi. Okay, so since r equal to 1, so we parameterize it as cos phi. So z becomes, instead of r cos phi, we are writing r equal to 1, so that is only cos phi. This is r sin phi sin theta y, that y is replaced by only sin phi into sin theta. So that is how it is parameterized. Now you know your x coordinate, you know your y coordinate, you know your z coordinate. So what is your z? Just put here. So your f vector is zi plus yz plus xk. So your x is cos phi, z is cos phi, y is sin phi sin theta, and x equal to sin phi cos theta. Now you need to compute what I have discussed in just the last slide, this. So since it is in parameterized form, so you need to compute partial derivative of r with respect to phi. This phi in the subscript means partial derivative of r with respect to phi, and then partial derivative of r with respect to theta, and then take the cross product. So here is your r. You first take partial derivative with respect to phi, compute r phi, then take partial derivative with respect to theta, compute r theta, and take the cross product, and then you will get this term. I request everybody to please cross check it. Priyanka, please cross check it whether it is correct or not. You just compute. Here your r is given. You need to compute r phi. You need to compute r theta, and then you have to take the cross product and tell me whether it is correct or not. This quickly, I am giving you 2 to 3 minutes. Please try it at least. But your r is given, you need to compute the r phi, you need to compute the r theta, then also you need to compute the cross product. So please try it. Just try it, that your r is given, you need to compute r phi and then you need to compute r theta, and then you have to take cross product. And I hope that you all know how to take partial derivative and how to take this cross product of two vectors. So these are very basic preliminary concept which you have, I think, learned in class 12 or 11. So please try it. Yes.
I component, J component, I got the same answer.
Okay.
K component, I got a sin phi, cos phi.
I think you did some mistake. Okay. It should come like this. Please recheck once again. Priyanka, did you got your mistake, or whether my note is just cross check once again?
Same answer. Sin phi cos phi.
Sin phi cos phi. Okay, it should come like this. You once again verify in the once more time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if still you got some ambiguity, I will solve on my own and I will share you the solution. So this is f dot n d sigma, this is f dot, so n d sigma, we all know that what is f n d sigma. So now you need to compute a dot product of f with respect to this. If you take dot product of this with respect to this, you will get that there, see, so first sin phi cos theta, so here that will be sin cube phi cos square theta, right? Sin cube phi cos square theta. This is sin cube phi sin square theta. So sin cube phi Sine cube pi cos square theta. Sorry, I am sorry. So this is your f is this, so that will be sine square phi cos theta. Here also sine square sine cube pi sine square theta, and that is sine square phi cos theta. Yes, I think you are right, it should be sine phi cos theta. Okay, Priyanka, you are right, it is sine phi cos phi. Okay, this is sine phi. Okay, very cut. So this is sine phi cos phi k cap. So this is sine phi cos phi, and if you take the dot product, you will get sine square phi cos theta. This is sine square phi sine square theta, sine cube phi sine square theta, and here also you will get sine square phi cos theta, and these two will add up and you will get 2 sine square phi cos theta plus this, and this dA is nothing but d phi d theta, because you are integrating over phi theta plane, and here phi is clearly varying from 0 to pi and theta is 0 to 2 pi. You integrate it, you will get it to be 4 pi by 3, and this integration is very easy, because just you take integration with respect to phi, you integrate with respect to theta, you will get this answer 4 pi by 3. Now, so this question is clear, right, Priyanka? See here we have unit sphere, but we have parameterized this to make the question easy, because if you want to solve in terms of that the form, you may get stuck, because the sphere and like if you have a symmetric surface like a sphere, then sometimes it may be difficult to choose the unit normal, right? So that's why we have just utilized the parametric form. Any queries? Okay. Krishna Swami sir, is this question clear to you? Okay, so next problem, we have to find the surface integral of the vector field. So this is our vector field, and that vector field is find the surface integral of the vector field f vector is equal to yz I cap plus x j cap minus z square k cap over the portion of the parabolic cylinder given by y equal to x square, 0 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 1, 0 less than or equal to z, less than or equal to 4. Okay, so x is equal to x, so you have to parameterize this surface. So the parametric representation of this surface is x equal to x, y equal to x square, and there is no relation on z, so z is simply z. Giving the parameterization, this parameterization gives you rxz equal to x I cap plus x square j cap, because y is x square z cap, where d your surface, this surface is given from 0 to 1 to 0 to 4, the plane on which you have to integrate it. Okay, so same procedure, you have to determine, you have this rx, you have to determine, I think here there is one typo, that will be rx into rz. Okay, so that is rx cross rz, and your r is nothing but xi plus x square j cap plus zk cap. Priyanka, also please compute this one, that r is your given xi cap plus x square j cap plus zk cap, you compute rx and also you compute rz, and then take the cross product, and if you have taken the cross product, then you have to this is Rx cross Rz cap, then this is F dot, and F is your given here. F is yz plus xj cap minus z square k cap. Now y is your x square, so that's why y is replaced by x square. X varies from 0 to 1, z varies from 0 to 4, and we have just utilized here this. You integrate it, you will get the answer to be 2. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you compute it? Please compute.
Cross product I got the same ones.
Okay, okay. Okay, so now move to the next problem. We have to evaluate this double integral S f dot n d sigma, where f is y cap plus xj cap plus zk cap, and S is the boundary of the solid that is enclosed by the paraboloid z equal to 1 minus x square minus y square, and the plane z equals to 0. So you have this paraboloid that looks like this, and this plane is z. So you have two surface to tackle, right? So first surface that lies on the xy planes, मतलब ये जो S2 है, समझ में आया? This is your one surface, and there is one more surface here. So the surface S has two parts, the top portion S1 and the base S2. Since S is a closed surface, we consider its outward normal n cap. So projections of both these S1 and S2 on xy plane are D, actually the unit disk. So here there is one formula given, that if you are given like z equal to fxy, then the flux is double integration d minus mfx minus nfy plus p dA. Okay, your z is given here. So vector m is here. So this is the formula. You have to integrate over d. The formula is simple, minus mfx minus nfy plus p dA. What is minus m? Minus m is y, minus y. And what is your f? Your f is 1 minus x square minus y square. Fx is minus 2x. Similarly it will be minus 2y. And what is your p? Your p is that z equal to fxy, that f. You given z is equal to 1 minus x square minus y square, right? Because you are to integrate over that, so you have to replace this z by the functional form, and then you got this expression. Now if you got this expression, you use the coordinate transformation, because the projection of this S1 plane on the xy plane is also S2. The projection is also simply this. So if you just take transform it polar coordinate system, then you will get it pi 2. And if you take the surface integration over this S2, now on S2 you will get z equal to 0. Now if you on this S2 you will get z equal to 0. So if you compute this, the outward drawn normal is simply minus k cap, because S2 is nothing but the xy plane. So outward drawn will be on this plane, on this direction, and this direction is minus k cap. So this will give you only minus z dA. Now on this surface, on this plane S2, z is actually 0. So you will get this to be 0. So if you entirely compute over the S, where S is S1 union, S is S1 union S2, then you have to take sum of these two integrals, and this is simply pi by 2 and this is 0. So the entire answer is pi by 2. Now Now it is the most important theorem. We have learned about Green's theorem, right? Now we will learn about Stokes theorem. What does Stokes theorem does? Stokes theorem gives you relation between a line integral and a surface integral. Got my point? Stokes theorem. So what is Stokes theorem? Stokes theorem is actually So Stokes theorem actually give you relation with a line. So Stokes theorem actually gives you a relation between a line integral and a surface integral. So read with me the statement of Stokes theorem. So let S be an oriented piecewise smooth surface that is bounded by a simple closed piecewise smooth boundary curve delta S with positive orientation. Let F is a vector field with MNP having continuous partial derivatives. MNP means the components of F. This is how the surface integration on the line integration over the boundary is interconnected with the surface integration on that domain. So this is actually the statement of Stokes theorem. Just I am giving you 2 to 3 minutes. Just read down the statement of the Stokes theorem. It is one of the basics theorems of calculus. Like we have learned Green's theorem. Now we will focus on Stokes theorem. We will solve 1 or 2 problems, and then we will learn another important theorem, that is called Gauss's divergence theorem. Okay. So please go through this Stokes theorem. So what does it give, what does it help? How does it help you? The Stokes theorem transforms a line integral to a surface integral, and also vice versa. Right? So just read down the statement. You did the Stokes theorem?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so next we will move to some problems. So we know right that how to compute curl. कर्ल में तो कोई परेशानी तो नहीं है ना, हम इजीली कर्ल को कंप्यूट कर सकते हैं, है ना. So here we need actually to compute curl. Okay, so these are just a proof, we'll just omit it. Okay. Okay. I think here there is one example. So what is consider S as the hemisphere. So what does it? Hemisphere means half of the sphere, right? So we have to consider S as the hemisphere. X square plus y square plus z square equal to n, and z is greater than or equal to 0, and your vector is y I cap minus x j cap, right? And now the bounding curve for S in the xy plane is delta S and is given by x square plus y square equal to 9, z equal to 0. Now you need to parameterize it. Okay, so what is delta S? Is a circle, x square plus y square equal to 9. So what will be the parametric representation? Just take x equal to 3 cosine theta, y equal to 3 sin theta. And if you just use this parameterization, you compute first f dot dr. तो आपको तो पता है कि लाइन इंटीग्रल कैसे डिटरमाइन कर सकते हैं आप. So we all know that how to determine line integral. So this line integral will give you f dot dr. If you compute it, you will get it to be minus 18 pi. And this problem is one of the most fundamental problem of Stokes theorem. Using this problem, actually we can determine we can validate the Stokes theorem, right? So now, line integral we got it, f dot dr is minus 18 pi. Now we need to determine the surface integral. So for determining surface integral, we need curl f. If you compute curl f, your f is known to you, you will get minus 2k cap. And then you need to determine this g. It is just grad g by determinant of grad g, absolute value of grad g. Then you will get this, and p, outward drawn normal is k cap. You take grad g by grad g dot p, dA you will get 3 by z dA, and dA is the differential in the projected area this. Then you compute curl of f dot n d sigma minus 2z3 d. This z will cancel one another, so you will get minus 2 dA, and dA is actually integration of the area. And what is the area of a circle having radius 3? It is pi 3 square, that means 9 pi. So integration of dA will be 9 pi, and minus 2 into 9 will give you minus 18 pi. So Stokes theorem is validated from here, right? So you are getting the line integral and the surface integral, both of them are equal. So Stokes theorem, that is how Stokes theorem is validated. Is it clear? Krishna Swami sir, do you have any problem? Krishna Swami sir?
No sir, it is clear.
It is clear. Thank you. So this is, I am just once again reading, it is just validating the Stokes theorem. So this is our last class regarding vector calculus. From next class we will move to complex analysis, and so today we will try to finish the concept of Gauss divergence theorem also. So please stay connected with us. Next our this problem. So we have two example is, so what does this closed form means? This closed form means you have to take one closed form integration, right? Z is 2 and the cone is this. So parameterize the cone. We will parameterize the cone with the coordinate r and theta. So if you take x equal to r cos theta, y is equal to r sin theta, then what will be z? Z will be square root of r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta, so simply r. And this formula we have, and z equal to 2. So r varies from z, this z coordinate varies from 0 to 2, right? And theta varies from 0 to 2 pi. This formula we have already learned for parametric representation. The outward drawn normal is this. You determine curl f. You have to determine this. You determine curl f. Your curl f will be this. Then determine curl of f dot n, and then you have to determine this d sigma. What is d sigma? D sigma is your d sigma. Okay. D sigma is this. So d sigma is r square root of 2 dr d theta, and if you determine, so you just take Stokes theorem. So Stokes theorem, you are in a line integration form. You convert this line integration into surface integration. You just determine, just put it here, you will get the answer to be 4 pi. So that is how your this line integration that can be converted into surface integration, and that is how you can compute the line integration in terms of surface integration. Next problem. So we have to evaluate this phi c minus y square I cap plus x j cap plus z square k cap dot dr, where c is the curve of intersection of the plane y plus z equal to 2 and the cylinder x square plus y square equal to 1, that is oriented counterclockwise when looped from above. So your f is given as minus y square I cap plus x j cap plus z square k cap. So m and p are known to you. You determine the curl f. If you determine the curl f, you will get this, and then that is same. You have to use the same formula, same, everything is same. You have to determine this thing. You determine your gxy is given, the function gxy is given, you have to determine this is grad g over this g dot b is equal to 1. You determine the d sigma, you will compute using Stokes theorem, and you will get this to be equal to pi. Same, everything is same. This is just for your practice purpose. Okay, I think you can easily solve these problems. Now this problem, you have to compute this s curl of f dot n sigma is this. S is the part of the sphere this that lies inside the cylinder x square plus y square equal to 1 and the above xy plane. So you need to solve these two things. So first of all, x square plus y square equal to 1. For determining s, you solve z in terms of these two equations. You get z square equal to 3. So z equal to square root of 3. Use parametric representation. Now put it here in the vector form. You put x, y, z of the parametric form. X equal to cos theta, y equal to sin theta, z equal to square root of 3. Same procedure. To determine curl f dot n d sigma, this is actually f dot dr. This is just the line integration we are doing, and you will get the answer to be 0. So this is one theorem. If curl of f equal to 0 at each point of an open simply connected region D in space, then on any piecewise smooth closed path C lying in D, this is equal to 0. Sorry. Now this is also one important theorem, that is called Gauss divergence theorem. So Green's theorem. Now what is in Stokes theorem? Stokes theorem gives us idea about interaction between line integration and relation between line integration and surface integration. Now there is Gauss divergence theorem. This Gauss divergence theorem will give you relationship between surface integration and the volume integration. Okay, so Gauss divergence theorem, let S be a piecewise smooth simple closed bounded surface that encloses a solid region D in R cube. Suppose S has been oriented positively by its outward normals. Let F be a vector field whose component functions have continuous partial derivatives on an open region that contains D. On integration S f dot n d sigma, this is integration D divergence of f dot dv. So just go through this thing. Okay, so this is the case of Gauss's divergence theorem. Gauss divergence theorem gives relationship between surface integration and volume integration. So consider the field F equal to this over the sphere this. The outer unit normal to S computed from grad phi with F is this. You determine n cap. This n cap is computed as this. So this is f dot n d sigma. This is 1 by a x square plus y square plus z square. J square d sigma is this a d sigma. Therefore f dot n d sigma, this is a into d sigma, and d sigma का integration will give you area of S. And what is area of S? This area of S, A is 4 pi a square. The sphere, the surface area is 4 pi a square. The 4 pi a square into A will give you 4 pi a cube. Now you need to compute the triple integral. So what is triple integral? This divergence of x. You compute, you will get it 3. And therefore t, as the ball bounded by s, to take divergence f, take integration dv. So that will be 3 into dv. And volume of d is 4 by 3 pi a cube. So that will give you 4 pi a cube. So that is how we can verify Gauss's divergence theorem. So remember always that Stokes theorem gives relationship between line integral and surface integral, and Gauss's divergence theorem gives relationship between surface integral and divergence theorem. Okay. Next.
Yes sir.
कोई आउटसाइड से नॉइज आ रहा है तुम लोगों को?
Yes sir, coming sir.
Actually in our IIT the fest is going on right now, a techno-cultural fest. It is just beside our hostel, so it is very hard for me also to concentrate. So just I will take class up to 15 to 20 minutes. Will it be okay?
Yes sir.
Okay, I will just take up to 7:30. Okay. So
Yes sir.
that's
The
all.
noise is audible sir. Even the noise is coming.
Okay, I am audible na?
Yes sir, audible sir.
Okay. So I will take up to 7:30. Okay. So that the noise was coming. That's why I became a bit late because the DJ was going on there. Okay. So next we have to evaluate this integration f dot n d sigma, where f is your this function. It's a bit complicated function. So that is f equal to xy I cap plus y square plus e to power x z square z cap plus sin xy k cap, and s is the surface of the solid d bounded by the parabolic cylinder z minus x square, and the planes y equal to 0, z equal to 0 and y plus z equal to 2. So you need to determine the divergence function. So if you want to compute this surface integral, you are doomed because you can see the complexity there, right? But if you compute simply the divergence theorem, you will execute through divergence theorem, your problem becomes easier. So your f is given xy I cap plus y square j cap, that is one bracket. So y square plus e to power x z square j cap plus sin xy k cap, and s is the surface of the solid d bounded by parabolic cylinder this, and your now s has 4 sides. So instead of compute, so there are 4 sides, and for 4 sides you have to take the surface integral. So you can imagine that how much tough it will be for you. But if you know divergence theorem, if you execute through divergence theorem, you are like, it is very easy for you. So xy, take first derivative xy x, y square plus e to power x z square y plus sin xy z cap. So divergence is just 3y, and d is given. Now you have to define the volume. So the volume is defined by x varying from -1 to 1, z varying from 0 to 1 minus x square, and y varies from 0 to 2 minus z. This is your integration. This is 3y. How this comes? You can simply from this using these 4 conditions. Now you will integrate 1 by 1, you will get the answer to be 184 by 35. Is it clear, Priyanka?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Find the outward flux of the vector field F across the boundary of the solid ds. So here you have to compute, there are two spheres, okay, and you have to determine the outward flux. So there are two flux, you got my point? So this type of, in between this volume is there, so you simply use Gauss divergence theorem. You also, whatever is used here, you also utilize the parametric form, right? Your F is given, you use the parametric form, you can also prove this. Next problem, consider the vector field F as 1 by a cube xi plus yj plus zk cap on the sphere S of radius a centered at the origin, so that the flux through S is a constant. So we need to determine that F dot n sigma is a constant. So we compute the flux directly. Let S be the sphere, x square plus y square plus z square equal to a square for any a greater than or equal to 0. The gradient computed from this gives the outward unit normal to S. So what will be the gradient? F is x square plus y square plus z square minus a square. You determine grad of F divided by absolute magnitude of grad. Now here it is 2x I cap plus 2y j cap plus 2z k cap. Here it will be square root of 2x whole square plus 2y whole square plus 2z whole square. That will be x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap divided by a. Therefore on the sphere S with F is F dot n. Determine F dot n, we will get this, because on the sphere this x square plus y square plus z square is 1 by a square. Now this is n F dot n d sigma 1 by a square d sigma 1 by a square into area of S, that will give you 4 pi. Now that is all. So today's class we have learned about Stokes theorem and what is two basic most theorem. So one is the Stokes theorem. Stokes theorem gives relationship between line integral and surface integral, and Gauss theorem, it gives relationship between surface integral and volume integral, right? So I hope that and also Priyanka, there are many review problems here which you can at least try. The solution also I will provide. I will upload this note today, okay, from which you can also get a good practice. Okay, so for example, you just see here, you need to evaluate surface integral 7x I cap minus z k cap. So this is your F of this is 7x I cap minus z k cap dot n d sigma over the surface S equal to x square plus y square plus z square equal to 4. So you need to determine, so you have this surface integral, you just use Gauss's divergence theorem, right? You don't need to compute the surface integral, you just use Gauss divergence theorem. You will get this divergence F to be 7 minus 1 equal to 6. And what will be the integral? So integral will be 6 times volume of S, and volume of S is, you can volume of a sphere having radius 2 will be 4 by 3 pi into 2 cube 8, right? And then 6 into volume of S, you will get is 64 pi. So that is how Gauss divergence theorem give you. Now this problem 3.7. So your evaluation is I 3x square dx plus 2yz dy plus this, where C is a smooth curve joining this to this by showing that f has a potential. Priyanka, determine the potential of this function, this vector thrice x square dx plus twice yz dy plus y square. So what will be the vector? The vector will be 3x square I cap plus twice yz j cap plus y square k cap. So what will be the potential? So if f is a potential, f has a potential, then f is a conservative vector field, right? So if f is a conservative vector field, then the line integration does not depend upon the smooth curve, choice of the curve. It will depend only on the first and the initial and the terminal point. Okay. So just determine the
x cube plus y square z.
Yes, you are correct. So x cube plus y square z. So if the potential function exists, then you don't need to compute, not need to think about c. You can just utilize, just write down the end point and just take minus, and you will get it, the answer to be 6. Okay.
Yes.
Also there is this problem, is independent of path. इसको कर सकते हो, ये थोड़ा टफ है, इसको ट्राई करो. ट्वाइस एक्स वाई जेड स्क्वायर डी एक्स प्लस एक्स स्क्वायर जेड स्क्वायर प्लस जेड कॉस वाई जेड प्लस ट्वाइस एक्स स्क्वायर वाई जेड प्लस वाई कॉस वाई जेड डी जेड. सॉरी, यहाँ पे देयर विल बी वन मोर ब्रैकेट. So your first component is 2x yz square, second component is x square z square plus z cos yz, third component is twice x square yz y cos yz.
So what is the name of this book, sir?
This is not book, this is some notes prepared by me. I will upload the note.
You will upload this one.
Yes, I have already uploaded the last 3 weeks notes, and this is not from any book. This is completely made by me.
Letting curl as 0, sir. F is a conservative vector.
Okay, I know, but you have to determine the potential. I told you to determine the potential. Okay, no problem. So we can also you can, because if you want to determine the line integral, you need to determine the possible potential. Got my point? So it is bit tough to determine, right? But it is not that much tough. You just integrate this with respect to x, you will get x square y z square. Integrate this with respect to y, x square y z square plus sin y by z, sin y z. You integrate this is same. So just take the sum. So this is the possible potential. Then you need to just take subtract from the last point and the first point. If you get the potential, use this, you will get the answer, right?
Yes, sir.
Here
So
also,
we no need to check curl of f vector every time, no? So we can directly check for gradient.
yes, but see, if you got some like in the path of independent and right, so if you get curl of 0, then you should be sure that you will get a potential. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
If you are getting the curl to be equal to 0, then you are 110% sure that you will get a potential at least. At the end of the day, you need to determine the potential, because otherwise
Okay, sir.
there are many problems, and at least you can try some of them. And at least you can try. So in this class we have mostly concentrated our study regarding Stokes theorem and Gauss's divergence theorem, right? So you also okay. Also see, Priyanka, this problem. DBS simply connected domain containing smooth curve this to this 0 0 1 1 1, you have to determine this. Now this problem is clearly stating that it has a potential, right? Just 2x you will integrate it, you will get x square. 2y you will integrate, you will get y square. 4z you will integrate with respect to, you will get 2z square. So the line independent integral is independent of path, hence its value is this 4, right?
Yes, sir.
So this type of problems may come in your exam also, in PTL exam also. So some of the basic thing is that you should know about what is parameterization and all. If you know the parameterization and this some of the concepts, then it becomes easier for you to solve if you have this type of issues. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Priyanka? Krishna Swami sir, do you have any questions?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, thank you for joining them. So
Thank you, sir.
from next class we will start reading complex analysis.
Okay, sir.
Priyanka, you have watched the first videos of complex analysis?
Yes, sir.
इंजीनियर मैथमेटिक्स 2 complex analysis का पार्ट हमने देखना स्टार्ट किया है.
Sir, not all.
हेलो.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो कॉम्प्लेक्स एनालिसिस का जो बुक्स वीडियोस है वो देखना स्टार्ट किया है. That videos uploaded. How many videos you have watched by Professor Kumar?
You can discuss problems relevant to the assignment problems.
I think okay, just wait a bit.